Le français, c'est facile.
Bonjour, welcome to Celine's Easy French. I'm Celine. Today we're going to learn reflexive verbs in present tense. So let's get started. Allons-y. First, what is a reflexive verb? Reflexive verbs indicate that an action is being reflected back on the subject. So the subject of the verb is performing the action on him or herself rather than on someone or something else. These types of verbs are very common in French, so it's very important to know how to use them. Now, how do we recognize reflexive verbs? Reflexive verbs are preceded by the reflexive pronoun se in their infinitive form. The presence of se indicates that the subject is performing an action on him or herself. Let me show you some examples of reflexive verbs. Se laver. Se laver. Se laver means to wash oneself. Se promener. Se promener, to take a walk. Se coucher. Se coucher, to go to bed. So we can see that these verbs are reflexive verbs because they're preceded by the reflex pronoun se. Now, let me show you how to conjugate reflexive verbs in present tense. Reflexive verbs are formed with a reflexive pronoun and a base verb. Let's take the verb se laver as an example. So here, se is the reflexive pronoun and laver is the base verb, meaning to wash. The base verb can be a regular er, ir, re, or an irregular verb. So you just need to conjugate that verb in present tense. The reflexive pronoun se changes its form depending on the subject of the verb. For je, reflexive pronoun is me or m apostrophe when it's before a verb starting with a vowel or h. For tu, it is te or t apostrophe. For il, elle, and on, it is se or s apostrophe. For nous, it is nous, so this can sound a little bit awkward, but you need to say nous 2 times. For vous, it is vous. For il and elle, it is se or s apostrophe. Let's conjugate se laver together. So the base verb here is laver, which is a regular er verb, so you just need to conjugate laver in present tense. And change the reflexive pronoun se according to the subject of the verb. Je me lave. Je me lave. I wash myself. Tu te laves. Tu te laves. You wash yourself. Il se lave. Il se lave. He washes himself. Elle se lave. Elle se lave. She washes herself. On se lave. On se lave. We wash ourselves. Nous nous lavons. Nous nous lavons. We wash ourselves. Vous vous lavez. Vous vous lavez. You wash yourselves. Ils se lavent. Ils se lavent. They wash themselves. Elles se lavent. Elles se lavent. They wash themselves. Also, please pay attention to the difference between reflexive verbs and non-reflexive verbs. When you take off se from the reflexive verb, the verb becomes non-reflexive. Let's take the example of se promener. Se promener means to take a walk. The reflexive pronoun se indicates that the action is performed on yourself. So if I say, for example, je me promène, je me promène, that means I am taking a walk. the action of taking a walk is performed on myself. However, when we take off se from se promener, the verb becomes non-reflexive, and it would have a different meaning. So, promener means to walk someone or something else. Let's make a sentence with promener. Je promène mon chien. Je promène mon chien. I am walking my dog. So here we do not use the reflexive pronoun se because the action is performed on the dog and not on yourself. Now let me show you some of the most common French reflexive verbs. S'arrêter. S'arrêter. To stop oneself. S'asseoir. S'asseoir. To sit down. S'attendre à. S'attendre à. To expect something. Se balader. Se balader. To take a stroll. Se baigner. Se baigner. To bathe or to swim. Se brosser les cheveux. Se brosser les cheveux. To brush one's hair. Se brosser les dents. Se brosser les dents. To brush one's teeth. Se coucher. Se coucher. To go to bed. Se dépêcher. Se dépêcher. To hurry. Se doucher. Se doucher. To take a shower. S'endormir. S'endormir. To fall asleep. S'énerver. S'énerver. To get angry. S'ennuyer. S'ennuyer. To be bored. S'entraîner. S'entraîner. To train. S'expliquer. S'expliquer. To explain oneself. Se fatiguer. Se fatiguer. To get tired. S'habiller. S'habiller. To get dressed. S'habituer à. S'habituer à. To get used to. S'informer. S'informer. To inform oneself. S'inscrire. S'inscrire. To enroll, to register. Se laver. Se laver. To wash oneself. Se maquiller. Se maquiller. To put on makeup. Se marier. Se marier. To get married. S'organiser. S'organiser. To get organized. Se plaindre. Se plaindre. To complain. Se préparer. Se préparer. To get ready. Se promener. Se promener. To take a walk. Se reposer. Se reposer. To rest. Se réveiller. Se réveiller. To wake up. Se taire. Se taire. To be quiet. Quiz time. Please conjugate the reflexive verbs in the parentheses. First question. Please conjugate se coucher in this sentence. Très bien. Marie se couche à 10h30. Marie se couche à 10h30. Mary goes to bed at 10:30. Second question. Please conjugate se réveiller in this sentence. Très bien. Je me réveille tôt le matin. Je me réveille tôt le matin. I wake up early in the morning. Last question. Please conjugate se préparer in this sentence. Très bien. Nous nous préparons pour aller à l'école. Nous nous préparons pour aller à l'école. We are getting ready to go to school. So now you know reflexive verbs in French. If you like this lesson, please like my video and subscribe. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next video. À bientôt!